You're listening to the Journey Podcast, a ministry of Southcrest Baptist Church. We're here to know the Word, love the Word, and live the Word. Let's take a joyous journey through the Word.
We are back. Grew my hair out. This was my wig for our murder mystery party. I was a cult leader. I was in my office and I was like, I'm gonna put this on and wear it.
He has a ponytail. Make sure you see the ponytail.
I have a ponytail.
Yeah.
Right back here.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Through the hat and everything.
I put it through my hat.
Good. Look at that hat. Tell us about that hat real quick.
This is part of the new merch line. Your story for His glory.
Woo!
If you've pre-ordered, these hats are actually on back order because he's struggling to find them, but he did one of one. But we will get these in soon. And so we've got a lot of our other merch in. and so excited to get that out to you guys. Man, I'm excited for today because we're just going to talk.
Yeah, a little bit different today, I guess.
Today's going to be a little bit different. You guys have probably heard the news by now that David Maddox and company, and by company, I mean Allie, Millie, Whitaker, Murphy is in the belly still, but I guess she won't be when you move.
Yeah. December 6th, due date.
December 6th. The Maddoxes are moving.
That's right.
Yeah.
Long way.
Yeah, they're moving to Terre Haute, Indiana.
That's right. Yeah.
Here's what we want to do. I want to just talk to Maddox for a little bit about the move. I think it'd be cool for you guys to hear. If you were here this past Sunday, you probably heard a little bit of like where they were moving, when they were moving. But I think it would be cool for you guys to kind of hear kind of the whole process of like what went into this, how God has kind of been in the details, and how this isn't just kind of a, like, you know what, let's just move type of deal. But how God is doing something in you guys. I'll back up a little bit because the first that I kind of heard of this was at Fall Retreat.
Yeah.
But this has probably been a little bit longer than just like at Fall Retreat.
Sure. Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about like when you felt like, man, the Lord was doing something in you.
Well, first I need to say this. This is such an emotional topic for us.
Yeah.
And I'm in a, like, maybe you've been through something like this before, where like I don't really know when emotion's gonna come. Like in fact, in the 9:30 service, I was like so prepped. I had told Landon, I was like, yeah, no, you need to be right there next to me because I might get emotional, and then you can kind of pick up. And then we like walked into the announcement on the 9:30, and I was just like so chill. And felt so clear-headed, and I was like, okay, great, And then in the 11 got a little emotional. Yeah, I just never know when it's gonna come, right? So like we might just be talking, and then we might start talking about the Braves again, and I might start crying. Okay, so
that's why I wore the wig.
That's why you wore the wig. A little,
Can't cry.
Yeah, can't cry with that wig with the ponytail. Oh man, it's gonna make it extra weird. We like midway through this podcast, I'm just like weeping, and you're. Yeah, you're doing like rubbing my back. It was a like, when did God start doing something in my heart? It's like tough, and like I apologize for doing this like let's go way back thing, but it really I guess like kind of important to the story to talk about. Just like a quick touch on like the past 5-6 years. Like I'm not going to tell all the details, right? But just kind of touch on something about the past 5-6 years that we've lived as a family. Without going into all the details, we've gone through some just like pretty dark times. Like I have personally, and our family has, and bunch of fracturing of my family, and then my mom passing away is I think like maybe the surface level details that are helpful to the story, and really struggled, and came to a moment like where. I think just kind of out of desperation and brokenness, felt the nearness of God like I never have in my life. I mean, maybe you can even like help translate some of this, but like just felt that He was so near to me personally and to my family, like walking with us.
Well, we've talked about this at TNG. Like God is he's everywhere, but he manifests his presence at different times in different ways.
And near to the brokenhearted, I think is it's a pretty common thing, and just it's biblical, of course, right? But we experience God's like presence and nearness through that time like we never have before. And so there's way more detail that could be could be fleshed out there, but that's kind of what catches us up to, I think, really the answer to your question, which is back in January, which is so weird because I didn't even know about this church in Terre Haute, all that kind of stuff. But back in January, had just Allie and I, because of routine and also because the kids just wake up super early and wake us up. We get up pretty early in the morning, and that's when we, have a cup of coffee, sit on the couch, and kids or no kids at that moment, do our Bible study and just kind of, we oftentimes will just talk and start off our day. And I remember, I don't know what day in January it was, but we had a conversation that kind of carried on for a few days in January about how we wanted to get back to that place. Not that the Lord felt distant necessarily or something like that, but right, like, maybe I don't need to explain that anymore. We just wanted to get back to that place of just feeling like with every step, God is the way to say it, I think, is just dependent on him with every step, and like we missed that nearness. Again, not like he was far away, but just he was so close in the brokenness that we were feeling. And so we honestly, maybe it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to us either in January. Like we were really like, okay, I don't know, but we both were feeling that and had been feeling that. So when the conversation came up, right, it was like both of us were like, yes, I have been, I've been praying about this and thinking about this. And so at that moment, right, it was just like, hey, we're just going to start praying, and see what was coming up. But I mean, at that time, and this carried on until I guess, which we'll get there, but to late July, there was never even an idea that was something outside of Lubbock, right? That what we were talking about, that we had the nearness that we had felt previously didn't have to do with moving. Or changing jobs, right? Like,
let me ask you this: Did CLC have the church leaders conference? Did that
massive?
Have, a big,
huge, Which is,
did it kind of confirm to you?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely, What Jenny Allen talked about, but like, because Jenny Allen at church leaders conference, she did talk specifically about being bold, and she talked about Gather 25 and just kind of this vision that God had given her. And so that part did feel very specific, right? It was like, oh my gosh, this is what we're feeling, is this like urge or like a desire to be urgent and to be trusting God and to like step out in faith and be okay with a little danger maybe or discomfort. But it honestly, said this a few times, like I think most people will understand this, like that feeling of, oh my goodness, the preacher's just preaching straight to me. Like that, we kind of had that feeling with all of CLC, even though I think Undivided was the theme of CLC, and so there was a lot of awesome stuff that was being talked about, being taught. But it's one of those things where it's like Holy Spirit, I think, was targeting something in our hearts, right, and doing something in our hearts, and so it felt like the whole conference was about the one thing, even though it really wasn't. And so for sure, we had been praying about that in January, and I guess that was early May, right? Or April?
April, I think.
Okay, maybe it was April. That makes sense. And so we had already been praying about this for months, and so we like came back from CLC going, it's we still don't know what it is, but it's time to get serious. And so we started investigating that. And I know I told you about this. I told a lot of people about this, but like we investigated some pretty wild ideas. It's difficult to explain because it doesn't make sense, and I realize that. Okay, but my brother-in-law, I think in the past had said something about lavender, and it's a pretty high yield per acre crop. Okay, so if you're interested in, I don't know, peanuts also high yield per acre, and so so it was just like. It doesn't make.
Thought the Lord may be calling you to do a lavender.
Look,
farm.
I had no idea. It just, and I get a little.
I love lavender.
It's wonderful. Yeah. I get I don't get too sidetracked on this, but like I get pretty I've had to like learn this about myself and try to control this and temper this, right? But I get pretty obsessive about things like like hobbies. And so I got to be careful cuz sometimes that can distract me from it can make me lose focus, right? Because I'm like jumping around. But I think a relationship with that, just like reality about myself that I've had to develop, is that sometimes it's like good and I should use that and pursue it, like right with music or something with worship leading. I have to identify, oh, this is a good thing, this is from God. And if it's that, like, then let it rip. You know what I mean? Like don't hold back. And so that's why I was like, hey, maybe I started developing this kind of, I guess, like obsession with the idea of growing lavender. The idea, okay? So like I bought a germination tray. Tim had some old seeds that may have been too old, but anyways, so I tried to germinate some lavender. Absolute failure. Not one seed sprouted, okay? And which I probably should have done things different, but you know what I mean? Like it didn't work. Bought some lavender plants, didn't really take care of them. They ended up dying, okay? And so I realized that you could easily be like, well, that's all on you, dude, for just not doing a good job with the lavender. But we also toured some properties. I'm going way too into the lavender thing, right? But we've spent a lot of mental time, like an effort on the lavender idea of really thinking this was what God was doing.
Yeah, and that makes sense because if you feel like it's what God is,
maybe this is it.
Like this is it, God. Then you're gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go all in.
Yeah, and we did. Yeah, we talked with our realtor. We toured some properties, like looked at farmland and houses, and it was just the long. It's already a long story. It's like maybe not short. I shouldn't say that, but like, it was a no. Okay, obviously it was a no. We looked at church planting. Again, like with Southcrest, like we were just like, hey, maybe there's a Southcrest church plant idea or something, and yeah, kind of again, like it just was a no. Is the long story short, but we kind of found ourselves late in the summer because we were touring properties in July or in June for sure, and having conversations about church planting over the summer as well. And I think it was mid-July or something like that. We had gotten to this point where we were like, okay, we're pretty sure the lavender thing's a no. Pretty sure at least the version that we had been pursuing of church planting was a no at that point. And so we were really just kind of like, I don't know. I remember having conversations with our home group where we're real open with our home group. We're having conversations with our home group where we were just like, hey, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not something really big, but let's just have conversations about, for each of us individually, like what it looks like to be bold and trust God with our family. Or something. We just had more surface level conversations like that. But we were very much in a place of just being like, we still feel a strong confirmation from the Lord. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially because it had gone back so far, right?
Yeah.
You know, like with the flighty obsessions that I was talking about that I've identified that I can develop sometimes. It was like, well, this is clearly not that, right? Yeah. Like I'm going from July with actually really no progress whatsoever, and I'm still like obsessed with this concept about what's coming. Like, and so yeah, so just like clearly God had like put something on our hearts that we didn't understand yet.
Yeah.
But it felt so real that it was like something was coming. Yeah, like late in July, got a phone call from Jerry Newman, the executive worship pastor here. And I hope this is honorable to him to talk about. Like, I feel very honored by Jerry, but I hope he feels that way, me bringing him up in this way. But
yeah, well, I mean, he's a big part of the story.
Yeah, he is. And again, like, it was such an honor that he called me about this. But at the time, I gotta say, when he called me, like, we were like, I think it was maybe a Thursday or something. Like, we were sitting down for dinner, and I was like, we hadn't quite started dinner, and I got a call, and I was like, let me just take this really quick. Normally I wouldn't, right? Normally, like, well, we're eating dinner, I'll call him back, right? But I was like, I should take this really quick, and just walked out of the room, just talked to Jerry for a minute, and Jerry told me that he has a good friend who's a lead pastor of a church in Terre Haute that called him, and it's actually a guy that I had met before at a conference that didn't know real well but looked up to, anyways, and he just said, hey, he's looking for a worship pastor. And he said that he had already been called by him and maybe one other guy from the church asking Jerry if Jerry knew someone, and Jerry had initially said no, like
Yeah.
and like I'll think about it, but no. And he said that he was like driving. That was when he called me. He was like driving and felt conviction that he was like, well, I guess I do know someone, but. And so called me. Sorry, didn't call them back yet. Called me, and that was when I was talking to him. And he said, "Hey, so just like if you're interested at all, wanted to call you, and just felt bad not even telling you about it." And I said straight up to Jerry, I was like, "Man, I'm so like, first of all, just so honored that you would like think I'd be a good fit for that. Like, it's so awesome." I said, "But man, we don't want to like, we have no interest in leading Lubbock. In fact, at that time." Like I said, all that had been happening back since January felt so clearly to us like it was something about Southcrest. Like, and so I was like, man, we feel so like our comfort, like our calling, like God's calling on our lives. We feel so like it's confirmed, like it's here, it's Southcrest. I said, but I've always been taught by people like Jerry and other mentors in my life, that hey, at least pray about it. And so I said, hey, so yeah, we'll pray about it. You know, you're welcome to give them my number. I'll take a phone call, but yeah, we're not really interested. And then, man, of course, there's a ton of other details like in that part of the process as it goes forward, just like the interview process and the hiring process. We stepped into it really skeptical. We prayed about it a ton. We had a couple phone conversations. Did an initial interview, just like a video interview. And even then was still just like, I mean, okay, we'll see, you know, like everything that we had learned about the church seemed like it was a great church. Everyone that we met seemed great, but yeah, we were really apprehensive and honestly, like really critical, like very critical of the church, like every step of the way. You're just like, I don't know though, you know, the town, this, like the church, this, nothing that we actually knew. We were just like, again, apprehensive. Like we were being way overcritical, trying to come up with anything like, that's probably that won't be good. And yeah, just every step of the way, I think God just kind of chipped away at our hearts, and again, like we just began to realize, oh my gosh, it's so crystal clear that this is what He's been doing. Right? We got to this point. We visited all this. We met a bunch of people, had a bunch of different conversations with leaders there, with volunteers there, with church members there, with the elders there.
Because they flew you in.
Yes, we went to visit in October.
Lead worship on a Sunday.
Yeah. It was
all that good stuff.
Busy weekend, but it was good because it gave us this opportunity to have all these conversations with people. We got to the end of that process faced with a really uncomfortable reality, right? And that was that all of the skeptical things, like all of the apprehension, like all the excuses really, like that we were trying to come up with had been resolved. And so it'd come to this point where it's like, okay, all that we have left with this, okay, is, you know, we're making a pros and cons list, right?
Yeah. All
that we have left is, okay, this good list of pros, good church, all those questions answered, the things that we wanted to be cons moved over to pros, right? Like, and all that we had left was, it's very far away. Moving very far away will stink. All of our friends and family, people that we love, are in Lubbock. Leaving them will stink. Okay, we love our church. It would be so uncomfortable to leave. That's gonna stink. So right, we had all that we had left on cons. We felt all fell into the same category of discomfort, and we were like, not necessarily bad, just like discomfort. And we were like, okay, So now we call. Right, I was like imagining. Okay, now I call these people back and I say, hey, thank you so much. You know, I'm like imagining this. How would I do this? Right? Like, oh. And every time it was like, that's just a little too uncomfortable. It just felt so clear that like that would just be disobedience. You know?
Yeah. Hey, so you had prayed like, God, make us uncomfortable, and then all the cons were uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to be going there as kind of their lead worship worship guy. They have how many campuses? 3?
3, yeah. So the third one just started.
Okay.
But yeah, 3 campuses.
Yeah, three campuses. And you're gonna kind of oversee not just your campus, but some kind of the worship leaders at the other campus as well.
Yep.
Is that kind of the
Yeah,
man? That's I think a really awesome opportunity, like to not only grow yourself, and kind of grow your skills as a worship leader and you know, a leader, but also help these other guys, you know, go to the next level. But
so I just remember that you have hair right now. I was like, it's like in the middle of you talking, I was like,
but
hair.
here's kind of how I want to end.
Yeah.
Because kind of listening to you, one of the things that I just kind of was thinking through, because there may be a college student, there may be an adult, how do you say? Adult, okay. Adults, who's listening to this as well, who may be kind of feeling that same sense, like God's doing something to me, but I don't know what it is. I think an important thing to remember is like when you kind of say, okay, God, like whatever it is I want to do, that doesn't mean that God's necessarily going to move you to Terre Haute, Indiana. Like it could be here in Lubbock. I think the big thing to kind of take from this is that, man, it is better to be uncomfortable, but truly following like the Lord's steps each and every step than it is to go, yeah, I'm good over here. Like I'm comfortable over here. Even if you're saying go this way, like I'm still comfortable right here and I'm good. It's better to be uncomfortable following the Lord than it is to be comfortable and not doing what he calls you to do.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a really big point. But man, we're excited for you guys. And I say we, like, I know Kylie and I are, we kind of broke the news to Holland on Sunday. And she was like, well, we can just do fall retreat in Indiana.
Great idea.
I was like, Holland,
great idea.
That's not, I don't think that's how it works, kid. That's 1,000 miles away. But you know, yeah, there's gonna be tears and stuff, but man, it is really cool just to kind of watch someone just follow what the Lord wants of them and step out in faith, and do it. And so we love you guys, and man, thank you for all that you've done for the journey, and even before I got here, you know, you've been here, what, 13 years, 12 years?
12 years, like 12 and a half, I guess. June is my work anniversary. Yeah.
And David started as an intern, a resident. Yeah. Kind of, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of your initial.
With the middle school ministry.
Yeah. Middle school ministry. So, anything else you want to add as we kind of wrap up? I don't want to cut you off, but
I just say, man, it's the best place to be is to be, like, just to confirm what you're saying, like, just the best place to be is to be with the Lord, right? Like, I think that's something that, as scared as we are, something that gives us like comfort looking forward, is that, hey, we don't know that this is going to be like, as the world would see it, just like blessing after blessing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we know this is where he's calling, and we know that as uncomfortable as it's going to be, like his presence, right? Like his purpose, right? Like is like it's worth whatever it is, like whatever comes. And so I just want to confirm that.
Yep.
You're saying, like, man, whatever it is,
that's good.
Just like pursue him with everything. Even if it's scary.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we love you guys. By the time you watch this, there's only a few T&Gs left, just a couple. And so it's almost Thanksgiving. When you get back, it'll be time for finals. And so, man, it's been a great semester. But yeah, we love you guys. We hope you have a great week. You are sent.